Hey there everyone, AJ back again for the Mighty Gluestick channel. Another monster from Mordenkainens Tome of Foes. This one is a new addition brought to us by the wish of Nolan Whale and his grasp of the coolness of two monster types, the Ooze and the Mimic. Combining the two with an iconic species of evil cosmic invaders, the Mind Flayers, gives us a new creature that has captured the hearts and minds of the Dungeons & Dragons community. That creature is the Oblex. First of all, what a great name. And the uses people will put these to. Just endless possibilities. So let's discuss their origin. The Mind Flayers are parasitic, psychic, hybrid servitors of their Gestalt overlords, the Elder Brains. They once, and will one day, again, have a massive empire of enslaved worlds spanning dimensions and time. When they came to the worlds which had an abundance of mystic energies and the unique environment of the Underdark, where what would normally be microscopic organisms grew to gigantic macro size, they saw a new biological resource to experiment on, mutate and exploit as a living slave species. What stands out the most about the Oblex is that they are infused with intelligence. The Oblex, so that they are a very different kind of life form compared to other oozes. They're essentially a mutated form of multicellular amorphous psychic slime. The stuff is fast. Much faster than you would expect from an ooze. It's not particularly strong physically, but it is tough, with an armor class of 13 for the newly spawned creature and an average of 18 hit points. They are agile and can attack quickly by whipping out a pseudopod to slam into objects and creatures with the same force as a very strong adult human can throw a punch. And they can also, if they get more complicated in the combat, expand out like a sheet to engulf targets, wedge themselves against the door to hold it closed, extend a web or a rope to trip targets over, spread out to form a false puddle over a pit trap, disguise themselves by lurking just under the surface of an actual pool of water. They're not overly strong, with a strength of 8 in a spawn or an adult form. They do get a lot stronger when they hit their huge elder size, increasing their strength up to 15. But it is their mental and magical capabilities that are their primary weapons. Even as spawn, they inflict psychic damage when they make physical contact with a sentient being. This is added into their pseudopod strike damage, but they could also this could also occur when they're just in physical contact with a restrained victim or someone who couldn't get out of contact with them, such as when they're wedged into a tight spot and the Oblex is flying around them. The psychic damage takes the form of memories being ripped from the victim's mind. This doesn't destroy the memory, it's just a very unpleasant and painful experience, like getting one hell of a headache as a torrent of memories swamp the consciousness, like somebody just played a ton of movie previews at high speed and full volume right into your face. The Oblex absorbs and feeds on this information and the emotional content in the same way a Mind Flayer sustains itself, for the most part, on mental energy. Other than liquid and basic detritus, this is all that the Oblex requires to grow. But it does need to feed to stay alive. The Mind Flayers keep the Oblex they raise in check by supplying them with a ready supply of sentient slaves that they allow the Oblex to feed on, stopping them just short of mental trauma becoming a fatal shock to their livestock. In exchange for this safe and ready supply of food, the intelligent Oblex understand what is expected of them. They are to seek out, infiltrate, and lead new sentient creatures into the custody of the Mind Flayer masters. The spawn are too young and inexperienced to create duplicate bodies, which is something I'll talk about in a moment. So in order to communicate with their non-telepathic creatures, they can latch onto a victim and absorb its sensory perceptions, using the victim to look around, hear sounds through eardrums, smell, taste, and feel in a way that their simplistic ooze form cannot. This is a trick that Oblex continue to develop as they grow. So if you ever spot a rat acting unusually, seemingly paralyzed in pain, but still looking around, sniffing, and yet spasming as it stands there, it might just be very well suffering the gentle caress of an Oblex, just taking a look around, a thin tendril of its body extending out some distance from the main mass. When they grow to adult size or larger, the Oblex has absorbed enough memory and has sufficient mass to shape a portion of its body into a duplicate of any creature that it absorbed memories from. This doesn't have to be a creature that they've killed. Even a brief contact is enough to get a fairly accurate scan of their form and a sense of themselves. The simulacrum is remarkably close to the original. They look, feel, and sound just as the original, and yes, they have simple lung bubbles and create vocal cords that sound just like the original. So they speak and hear through an approximation of eardrum bubbles. However, they can't see. They can't make light-sensitive cells, and so their eyes are just a copy for cosmetic only. They're extremely sensitive to vibration, though, and have quite effective blind sight out to 60 feet. But beyond that, they can't sense anything. The Oblex can extend its tendrils out 120 feet though, so a simulacrum can seem to see as far away as 180 feet as it senses vibrations from a distantly extended part of itself concealed from casual observers. The one thing that most often gives away the Oblex is the smell. It smells sulphurous and can't mimic any distinctive perfume or body odour of another creature. Then of course it has the memories of other creatures but not their personality. So it will really put itself in a position where those familiar with the victim will have a chance to interrogate it. Always keep in mind that this creature is wickedly intelligent. Even the spawn has an intelligence of 14 compared to the average of 10 for most humans. An adult Oblex has an intelligence of 19, which is considered genius level. And an elder Oblex has an intelligence of 22. Their intellect is not the same as ours or any humanoids. They are a chorus of mind fragments. It may refer to itself as an individual or as a spawn. But the adult and elder Oblex will refer to themselves as a collective and as an individual at the same time. It might mutter to itself,
"Come, my fluids, my precious Andromatica, my pets, my others, let us divide, and I shall act. Quiet your torments, flow in the reverie. I will bring more for you, always more for your pain. For our masters, for the experience, yes, we are agreed."
They are functionally insane, from our perspective, a seething internal mess of conflicting personalities, marshalled and controlled by the original identity of the spawn. The elder Oblex reaches a point that particularly willful sub-personalities are more trouble than good, and better outside than in. It releases them as a fully independent new spawn. Even an adult can do this if needed, but normally they just do it to stop driving themselves insane. Oblex may manifest duplicates quite a lot of the time, as a way to give a potential spawn a chance to practice their independence before actually separating completely, and individual Oblex may temporarily merge to share their memories and communicate in a way far more intimate than even telepathy can achieve. Their Mind Flayer masters greatly enjoy the memories and information that Oblex servants provide them willingly, and grow to respect the powerful intellect. And they don't really form fond friendships, but they can certainly grow to rely on their most useful and compliant Oblexes. As the Oblex grows, it seeks out those who have knowledge of magic to enhance its power to manipulate and control others. An adult will be able to cast Charm Person. In fact, that's the spell that they would seek immediately. They can also cast Colour Spray, Detect Thoughts, and Hold Person 3 times a day at DC 15 for the saving throw. They will most definitely use the Charm spell to control minions, as well as the psychological and physical torture, blackmail, threats, and persuasion. These are creatures with intimate knowledge of other beings, and a mastermind intelligence that they use very well. As well as mimicry of other creatures, they will use fanatically loyal servants to further enhance the illusion, building up a very convincing facade of something normal and innocuous. A single adult Oblex can maintain the identity of several members of a merchant caravan and control a group of tightly controlled lackeys, who eagerly go along with the ruse. In such a way, with their insensitivity to light, sunlight, that was the bane of many other oozes, they can easily infiltrate cities and settlements, can operate secretive cult cells, and mastermind something as complex as a city thieves guild. This is a creature that has so much utility and scope in the game. From tricky encounter to campaign mastermind, you can encounter them just about anywhere at any level of play. But where they are, I think the Mind Flayers are never too far away. Elder Oblex gain more magical skill. They can cast Charm Person, Detect Thoughts, and Hold Person at will. And 3 times per day they can cast Confusion, Dimension Door, Dominate Person, Fear, Hallucinatory Terrain, Hold Monster, Hypnotic Pattern, and Telekinesis. They can impersonate and have active duplicates of over 12 different creatures, all operating as a part of the collective, each aware of everything the others are doing and seeing, because they are still one connected creature. The memory drain attack of the adult Oblex and the elder are a lot worse than the simple spawn's opportunistic contact feeding. This is a new and interesting psychic attack that's really cool. So let's read out exactly what it says here. The Oblex targets one creature it can see within 5 feet of it. The target must succeed in a wisdom saving throw. The DC is 15 for the adult attack and 18 for the elder attack. Or take psychic damage, that's 48 for the adult or 8d10 for the elder, and become memory drained, which is an interesting condition, until it finishes a short or long rest, or until it benefits from the greater restoration or heal spell, so a simple restoration won't fix this. Constructs, oozes, plants, and undead succeed on the save automatically, obviously. While memory drained, the target must roll a d4 and subtract the number rolled for any ability check or attack roll it makes. Each time the target is memory drained beyond the first, in between its long rests obviously, the target's size and the die in size increases by 1, so D4 becomes a D6. So if you're hit with 2 memory drains, now you're taking D6 off all of your ability checks and combat rolls. Then of course it's a D8 and so on until the die becomes a D20, at which point the target becomes unconscious for 1 hour from the trauma. The effect ends, and when the Oblex causes a target to become memory drained, the Oblex learns all the languages and the target that the target knows and gains all its proficiencies except any save and throw proficiencies, which is pretty important. So to clarify, the Oblex gains those languages and proficiencies permanently, even after the victim is recovered. This is a powerful attack. Now, although the Pseudopod Attack is relatively weak, an adult has 1 per round and it's +7 to hit and does 1d6 plus 4 damage, plus an extra 2d4 psychic damage, and the elder has 2 Pseudopod Attacks per round. Each does 4d6 plus 3 bludgeoning damage and 2d6 psychic damage, and is also still only a +7 to hit. The duplicates it creates are medium or smaller creatures, including weapon-using humanoids, and the Oblex absorbs the weapon and armor proficiencies of anyone it memory drains, remember? So yes, it can absolutely be its own coordinated squad of armed and armoured guards. At the same time, its main mass is striking out with pseudopods and devastating spell and psychic assaults. Fun, fun, fun. A really excellent creature. My hat goes off to Nolan Whale and the team of Wizards of the Coast for it, and this will be a classic monster in years to come, I'm pretty sure. I can already sense that a lot of homebrew adventures is going to be featuring the Oblexes in such a huge variety of ways. Feel free to share your ideas in the comment section down below. What evil scheme will you dream up while listening to this video? I have a few questions. The Oblex does present a few questions for me. Certainly worth sharing my thoughts on this. So we know it's an ooze. It's very capable of changing its form to imitate a living creature, but there is no mention of any of other shape-shifting ability. Surely this creature has all the normal capabilities of a mimic and can take on the appearance of an inanimate object that has a sufficient size to emulate. This means it could take the form of a patrolling knight on the back of a large horse, where the horse is also the Oblex. If it can make a humanoid duplicate, does the humanoid also move at no more than 20 feet per round? I would assume that the Oblex requires oxygen, but it can operate indefinitely underwater. It's not acidic, so it probably needs water, and I imagine it can eat things in a similar manner to a fungus just by absorbing nutrients in tiny pockets it creates all over its surface area. Does the Oblex have rebels? Do they have rebels? A very rare incident where the Oblex spawn ends up abandoning the Mind Flayers. They could be willful personalities. Would it be hunted down as a potential threat by the Mind Flayers and other Oblex? What if some Githyanki or Githzerai captured one of these things and turned it over to their side? If the Mind Flayer dealt with infernal forces, would the services on Oblex be part of the bargain struck with the devil? Or would some Yugoloth mercenaries taken on an Oblex spawn as part of their payment? Could Oblex be operating as infernal espionage agents not only in the Blood War, but conflicts across thousands of worlds and many planes of existence? Do Oblex work together? Could one face off against a small army consisting of many Oblex and even have an Oblex mimicking functional siege weapons and vehicles? Is there other ooze experiments that rendered such successful results? Are the oozes are there ones that are infused with elemental power? Could the Oblex communicate and command other lesser oozes? Do they speak mimic and green slime? Could they ride a gelatinous cube? I think part of the enjoyment of a new, unusual monster is turning it over in your mind like a Rubik's Cube, moving components this way and that with plots and adventures seeds popping out as you go. I hope you're as inspired by these open-ended questions as I am. Always remember, it's your game, your setting, your rules. Do what you like. Thanks for listening. I'll be back again for more for you very soon. Just a reminder, if you've not subscribed already, feel free to do so. Be sure to hit the like and notification bell as I upload at crazy hours of the morning. For access to all of the scripts and occasional special offers, consider becoming a patron of the channel on Patreon for a minimum of just $1 per month. You get access to all of the written scripts and all of for all of these videos. Also, come join us on the Discord server. And if you'd like to entertain yourself, get a good discount on whatever game is on sale for the day, give a little kickback profit for me, check out the link at the very end of the description text below. Thanks for listening, everybody.